There we go. Okay, so thank you all for joining this first consultation session that we're organizing from the FIDELIS project, focused on increased inclusivity and representation in our training and support program. I will talk you through the FIDELIS project, what our plans are for increased representation in training and support, and then we would really like to hear from you about your strengths, challenges, needs, anything that we should take into account as we advance our plans and ideas and our training and support program. We have some questions on the Particify set up to get this input. The link is already here, and maybe Milica, you can also put it in the chat for people who want to already put some thoughts down, but we'll revisit this at the end where we'll talk through the questions with you and see what input you have top of mind to share with us. We'll leave this open for longer so people can provide input even after the event. And then we can take that on board with us as we develop our specific actions. So about the FIDELIS project to start, the FIDELIS project is a project funded by the European Commission. It started in January last year and it's running up until December of 2027. So we're nearing, not quite yet, but we're almost at the halfway point of the project. And the main goal of the project is to set up a self-sustaining European network of trustworthy digital repositories. So after the end of the project, we want to have that network established and continued without project-funded support. One of the parts of this project is that we also want to focus on supporting repositories now in upskilling and improving their trustworthiness and the different aspects and characterizations of trustworthiness. And that is where our support and training program comes in. So that is really for how we can identify the needs and the strengths of the community at the moment, and provide training and support to help them improve towards trustworthiness so that we have a strong and thriving network at the end of the project. We have 3 different types of support and training in our program. So we have the support for the adoption of solutions, the mentoring, peer-to-peer support, and open training activities. I will go into more detail about them in a moment. But first and foremost, we kicked off our project with a landscaping exercise to identify all kinds of things about the landscape as a project. So we talked about repository characteristics, the activities and functions that repositories carry out, any legal challenges that they face in their daily operations. And we were specifically very interested in their needs for training and support, of course. And then we also looked at the expectations for the FIDELIS network that was at that point not yet a reality. We received quite some responses, but as you can see on the map, we also noticed that with just our normal use of networks and communication and promotion channels, we didn't reach all the countries that we wanted to reach. We didn't get the broadest spread that we were hoping to see. So because we identified those as missing from those results, we wanted to put some additional attention towards identifying and connecting with the different countries that we haven't apparently established good connection with yet. So in our basic communication networks and promotional networks, this wasn't covered well enough at that point. So we wanted to put some more attention to it and identify what the training and support needs are in those areas, what the strengths are that can contribute to peer-to-peer learning and everything around it. So from that, we developed some specific plans for increased representation to not just say that we are going to cover everyone, but actually put more attention to it than we have been doing with our standard strategy. So with that, we identified these 3 main aims, where we want to facilitate actively increased representation in our training and support. So we want to see participants from countries that we previously didn't see so much in our projects before this or in the training that we have done so far. So we can make sure that they can also strengthen their skills and increase their trustworthiness as they desire. We want to facilitate repository networking so that different repositories can get into touch with people that they may not have in their direct networks, so that we can help them broaden their networks and reach out to others, share their experiences and knowledge as well with others, and learn from them in return. And improve our understanding of any unique challenges, needs, and questions that may be coming from different countries. So of course, there's a lot of challenges that all repositories share across different contexts and different situations, but there's also some challenges that are more unique to different regions or different national challenges that we also want to be able to highlight, to support where we can, or to make sure that people can connect to each other where they can learn from each other. So specifically for the increased representation, we make sure that our open calls for support that we have will have at least one offer in it that is related to the needs that we identify from our target group. So a specific challenge, or maybe an offer that is a bit more beginner level on certain topics, while as others are more advanced level. So we have a good diversity of offers that everyone can find themselves in, and everyone can find something that they can meaningfully participate in. As I already hinted at, we want to make sure that our communication and promotional activities are a bit more extensive and a bit more dedicated than they were before, so that we can reach people that we weren't able to reach before, and set up connections with countries and with networks and initiatives and organizations that we were previously missing. So we want to establish more direct contacts in countries, so we can not just share messages via our social media and our newsletters, which pop up in everyone's mailbox next to a million other newsletters and a million other news posts on social media, but that we can have more person-to-person contact to inform people when relevant things are happening, and if people have questions, that they can also find personal contact instead of a generic info email address. And in the case of equally evaluated applications, we will always make sure that we choose the best spread of representation in our participants, so that we can make sure that we have the widest group possible participating in our open calls. For the networking, we really emphasize peer exchange as a core element in all of our training and support. So we hope that this wider representation of participants in our calls will also help people to broaden their networks as they participate, so they don't just see the same players and the same people over again in different contexts. So they can learn from each other's experiences and have, a broader network, broader opportunities for peer learning, and a wider array of peers that you can contact to, or learn from, or share your experiences with. We also want to investigate with you the possibility of organizing trainings in the national context, also delivered in national language where that is more comfortable, so that you can really have the opportunity to discuss unique challenges, or if you think that in your country you need more effort to bring people together because the network isn't as well established, or people are working too much in silos independently from each other. We want to investigate if we can organize together with people in specific countries nationally based events, so that we can make sure that the networking also works on the lower level and not just on the pan-European and international scope. And then when it comes to the unique challenges, needs, and questions, that is what consultation sessions are for, like the one we're having right now, where we want direct contact like we did in a way in our landscaping survey, and ask people and get input directly from people on the topics they want training on, and the way they want training to be received, and what they find most important about training, so that we can make sure that we design our training in a way that you're actually wanting to participate and not just doing something that we think would work best, but let it be informed by what we actually learn from the community is what's most suitable. And it's also a good way to bring valuable knowledge that you do have to a bigger stage. So that can be when you work on peer exchange or in a role as a mentor, but also if we co-organize events that you can highlight specific experiences that you may have and get a lot more eyes on it in a wider stage to either see how you overcame certain challenges or see where your strengths are that people should know about, or get a wider group of people that can potentially help you cover certain bottlenecks or challenges that you're encountering. So those were our initial ideas. And with regards to our specific training, so we have our peer-to-peer mentoring program. This is a call that is currently open. It's the first open call of the project that has opened at the end of February and that is open until the end of April. There's 5 different topic areas that we identified where we are currently um, having the call open for mentors to be recruited and to work together with the FIDELIS team to set up a short, intensive support program for other peers to learn from. So you can either apply to become a mentor, which comes with some financial support for your time and effort, and then you work together with the FIDELIS mentors and other recruited mentors to develop that program based on experiences that you have relevant to the topic. So that can be experiences you've had that went well or that didn't go well and that you learned a lot from, or anything that you think is useful for other peers to know about and to be trained on, and learning as well from your other mentors at the same time. And you can also express your interest as a mentee at the same time right now, so that you can participate in that support program as it's being built. And where you can learn from other peers and build skills in one or more of the topic areas. So you can learn a lot more about this using a link, and I believe it's also posted in the chat. So there's all the information that you need right there. But here we really hope that people can bring their national, regional, local experiences that they might have or specific use cases that might be very interesting to include in the support program, to look at together, to learn from together as a mentor. You can connect with other peers on the same topic so that you can learn if some challenges are maybe more common than you thought, or other people are running into the same things and might be looking for a similar solution as you are. As an individual, you can build your skills as a mentor. It might sound scary sometimes to be a mentor, but it really isn't as high level as it might seem. But it is very nice skills to build as a member of a larger network of a European community, to feel more comfortable in teaching others. And there's also the opportunity to organize together with us a webinar or anything at the end of the delivery of the support program, to share the experiences or the lessons learned, or to highlight a bit more what you've been working on with this whole program on the topic. And as a mentee, of course, you can receive very valuable guidance here and bring that back to your own organization or your more local networks and see how you can learn from that together. So both sides, we think there's a lot of ways where we will benefit if we have a wider representation in our participants there. There will also be a call in the next year, so we're also looking for topics that can be included there, and they can also be suggested from the community. So based on what we learn from unique challenges or topics that are of interest, we can shape to make sure that the calls are always the most relevant to the community at the moment. For the support of the adoption of solutions, this is our other big type of support that also functions through open calls. So the first one will open at the end of April this year. And this again is a combination of financial support and expert support where you will learn about a specific solution. So that can be a tool, a policy, or a set of recommendations, or a certain approach, or any type of solution that can help you increase trustworthiness. And through guidance by experts and a set of workshops and independent work, you are supported towards implementation of that solution within your own organization. So that can be learning how to use a tool or reviewing and updating existing policies that you may have or anything in between. So this is a mix of independent work and dedicated support and connecting with peers, which also comes with some financial support as well to cover your time and effort that you put in. More information is to come about this open call as it launches in a couple months, but the website will explain everything and will again include information about who we are looking for in terms of participants and what kind of knowledge and skills would be expected of you as you join this. So considering representation here, we will make sure that our support offers have different levels of expertise in different areas of focus. So some may be more technical and some may be more on the policy side or on the soft skills side, so that different people within a repository can participate in different aspects of the support. It's very practical work here to adopt a solution or to provide feedback to very new and developing solutions. So you can make sure that the work that is there connects to your situation, to your context and organization. And you have the opportunity to help shape things that are still developed or still actively in progress, to make sure that they're the most useful to you as they can be. Participating in this type of support also allows you to connect to the experts in the field on certain things. So the developers of a certain tool or the creators of a certain set of recommendations are the ones that are guiding you towards this implementation and that will connect with you personally on what you need. And of course, again, you will connect to the other peers that are all struggling to learn the same thing as you are and that are all looking for a solution for the same kind of issue, where you will share your different struggles or wins or strengths and learn from each other in that way. Then we also have the open training activities. So those can be webinars or they can be more hands-on or more interactive training interventions. They are open for everyone to join and they can cover a lot of different topics. So it can be about important current developments, challenges that we've identified the community is struggling with, specific opportunities of new things that are on the radar, or recommendations for improved practice. So these can also cover different people's interest and different countries' interest. And as we also spoke about, there's the opportunity there for making them more relevant for your context and your specific local or national situation. So we hope that those training activities are relevant to what you need, and that's why we're also looking for your input on the topics that you would like to see. And we can collaborate on creating those very easily. So if you have specific suggestions on things that you have knowledge about and you think more people should talk about or see or know about, then we can work together to set those things up. They can be local events, but they can also be online international events, to make sure that you get eyes on things that you have been working on. So these are really for sharing knowledge and learning new things in like an hour to 90 minutes and then moving on uh, for input or for further discussion. So this is really how we have been working on shaping our support program, but also considering where we can use extra representation and extra input to make sure that our program is more relevant, and that we do what we actually want to do, which is represent the full community of the repository landscape, at least in Europe, if we can be a little bit specific based on our funding. Um, but yeah, since we identified in our landscape survey that we're still we still have some blind spots in knowing what the community wants. This is the first step for us to identify what you think we should take into account. And this is where I will hand over to Zelicia, if you're still around. Yeah, there you are.
Yeah, I'm here.
And put
The
this back
form
on.
is open. The form is open. Unfortunately, at the moment, we are not receiving responses. So I guess that we don't have many external people here in the room. And perhaps it would be more meaningful to have a discussion around these questions where people can actually open up their mics and say something. And we will send a form to everyone who has registered and broader, and we will collect responses in Participy. So I think it's more, it's a better option. I can share though my screen, and I need a permission. Share my screen and to show the questions. Yes. So here we have a couple of questions, and I would like to invite you to just answer them by speaking. The first question was about the barriers that you might have encountered to participate in repository training and support from other projects, not only from Fidelis, because we had an idea that those applications are coming, not coming from particular countries, that they are less represented. And we wondered what obstacles could have been. For example, I live in Serbia, and during a previous project, Fair Impact, we promoted those options, funding options, support options, etc. And people had very positive experience. But then in other countries, they were not that popular, they were not used. And we suggested a couple of answers, possible answers that perhaps you might not have heard about them because we didn't manage to reach out to you, that the information provided wasn't sufficient for you to make a decision whether to participate or not, whether the language was a bit complicated. That was my personal feeling, that this might have been involved, that you thought that your readiness level was low and you were too shy, thinking, well, perhaps it's not for me, perhaps it's for someone who is more developed, more mature. And also, many institutions, especially in Southeastern Europe, they are lacking staff. So they would like to have people engaged, but they don't know whom to appoint, and that might have been an obstacle as well. So could you please, I don't know who the external participants are, could you please just suggest, oh yeah, this is good. Thank you. So we have that we did, some people didn't hear about it and some people didn't have sufficient information. So if you said that you didn't have sufficient information, can you suggest what kind of information you would need? And it wasn't in the call, in the explanation. You can write in the chat if you wish, if you're shy. No? Okay, let's move to another question. So then the other question was about the structural barriers that affect repositories. So if you're managing a repository, what your structural barriers could be, that you don't have funding, you don't have trained staff, you don't have policy support. This can be an issue. I know this really well, that if you don't have a policy requiring data deposits, there is no, institutions don't venture into establishing repositories. Then also there are some infrastructure gaps in many countries and limited visibility of repositories in European networks. And also for some repositories, the certification requirements are too complex. Let me have a look at the chat. It's nothing from participants. Yeah, no answers as yet. Okay, lack of trained staff and technical infrastructure gaps. No, this is but you know, even if you're not ready in technical terms, and even if you think that your environment, your context is not mature enough, such offers are very good. They are very good at identifying those gaps and making operational plans how to overcome them. So it's still for you, even if you think that you don't have proper infrastructure, because you can streamline your actions towards improving it. Let's proceed. This is an open question. What would most attract you to participate in repository and support? So you see, for example, in some programs we are offering free support where we have experts who are engaged through the project and participants get support from free. And in this call that we are promoting today, we are offering support that even involves some reimbursement for the participants, so they get a honorarium for the engagement in this project. And for some people, this is quite attractive. So what else would attract you? For example, networking opportunities, or I don't know, opportunity to join a project team in a next call or something like this. What would be the things that would motivate you? You can speak if you don't want to type. No? Okay, we will send this as a follow-up. And there is another question about the topics that you would like to see in those open calls and training activities. So you can add up to 3 or 4 topics in the word cloud that here or speak. Or we will just leave this for later as well. And anything else that you would like to ask us. Okay, so you can, the link will be open, everything will be open, and you can answer it until the end of the session, and you can also answer after the session because you will get an email, and we will contact the other participants to provide the responses. Thank you.
Yeah, is there anything else that is currently on anyone's mind to ask directly? Then I'll give you a minute to raise your hand if you would like to.
We have one answer, though, about what they would like to get, gain new knowledge and share experience with others to obtain funds for the projects we are developing. That is one of the answers that we got in the meantime, and let me check whether we have something else.
Thank you.
Nothing as yet.
Enjoy. See you.
And just to reiterate that you currently have an open call for the mentoring and peer-to-peer support, and we really do strongly encourage all of you to have a look at it. There's a webinar that took place last Friday, I think, when we had the launch. It's going to be open for 2 months, so you've got plenty of time to do the application, and it's a fairly short application form, but we would recommend please do consider joining, because we know a lot of you have useful information to share, and we do want to try and capture that and share it with the wider community. There's a recording. If you weren't able to join, there's a recording on the website, so you'll get more information there. And if you have any questions, there's an email that you can send, and we'll happily respond to any of your questions. So please do consider applying.
Great. Oh, yeah, I see another hand. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Because then nobody actually, I think, wants to step up. So I'm coming from Slovenia, from Central Technical Library at the University of Ljubljana. And we are basically interested what is going on. So that's, we have like 6 institutional repositories built by our colleague from the university, from faculty for computer science at the University of Maribor. And we have like 6 instances, 4 for university, 1 that we are running, which is meant for the research institutions, which are not part of the universities, and the 6th one is for the high school education organizations, which are not part of the 4 universities. And beside that, I think we have one repository which is specialized in social sciences, and I think we are members of TESDA, and Elixir, maybe something more. Well, we are maybe interested in what my colleague Kenan is responsible for our repository. More or less what is going on. We don't have any specialized education on repositories, but we have now I can say well-established trainings for data stewards and data specialists. Yeah, that's in short situation. Maybe some of other colleagues from Maribor will can get some more light to that, what I said. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I think it's a really good attitude to just have towards projects like this, and in general, like, what's going on? I want to know more, and just curious to listen in and see if there's anything that is interesting for you. And yeah, I hope from this you can also identify that if there's topics that you would like to see, that you can shape us. You don't only have to wait to see what comes out, but you can also ask us what we can do for you to help you where needed.
Yeah, maybe we are interested. Maybe it depends on what is the extent of this education. Some courses for. Oh, maybe, but I think we have covered this topic about certification. We want our repositories certified, like Quotra Seal. Yeah, we have just managed to register it in retrieve work data. And yeah, we are working together, some of those institutions who share the same software for our repositories in order to certify it, but also this archive of social science data, they are certified, so you can get help from them about questions. Yeah. But certification is one of our goals. Not because it is needed, actually, because our government says all these repositories are trustworthy for the civilian projects. But we have encountered the situation that somebody from how it's called, this contact for the project of Horizon Europe or something like that. So I don't know, maybe it was Marie Curie. They said this is not good enough. This repository publishing the novel, which is basically not controlled in any way, and you can publish anything here. Yeah, this is maybe to what we are interested in. But if you are interested in our work, maybe we can provide you some
Yeah, I would
information.
say definitely that sounds like a good candidate. We do have a topic for the mentoring and peer-to-peer support on trustworthiness at national and international levels. So we are really keen to hear how people are addressing this. You don't have to be certified to be part of that mentoring program. We are just interested in hearing what kinds of approaches people have. So the approach you're taking in Slovenia, where you've got, you know, CESDA, but also you're working to do something at the community, that sounds like a perfect candidate for that particular topic. So again, I would say please do encourage your colleagues to consider applying.
Okay.
Thank you so much for sharing. And last call in general is that if you are interested in receiving more direct information from us, as I was speaking about, not just through a newsletter, not just through social media, though I do encourage you that if you want to keep track of the project as a whole, then that's always the best way to follow the highlights. But if you want to establish direct contact to ask questions about these calls or to reach out about collaborating on events or to highlight things that you think we should know about, then you can leave your email address in the last bit of the Particify, or you can reach out to our email address, which I'll put in the chat as well. And then we'll make sure that we have a direct link with you that anytime there's something interesting going on, either to your specific context or your country, or if it's something about our open calls and there's an opportunity for you to gain something from it, that we let you know personally, and you can also reach out personally for questions in return. So if you're interested in that, then you can reach out to us or leave it in the Particify and we will pick it up from there, because that will be kept just for us. Okay. If there's nothing else at the moment, then I want to thank you all very much for joining us in this first session. As said, we've recorded this, which will be shared, and we will also share the slides so you can look back at all that information that I threw at you at the beginning. And we will likely schedule a second session as well for a larger audience. And we'll be in touch, hopefully, with some of you about specific needs or specific challenges that we can talk to you about a bit more in depth. So thank you all for being here and have a great afternoon. And we hope that we will see you in different contexts again.
Thank you again. Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. All right.
Bye.